Yay, welcome back.
Hey.
Yeet, yeet.
All right, who's recapping? Anybody remember?
Dates last?
Yeah, I
it
think
was mainly
we
date night.
started off returning from Threshold. No,
Something like that.
returning from the lake issue.
Brennan Cove.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over Long Lake.
You guys actually started off last session in Windsor,
Right. Okay. No. Yep.
and then scattered from there.
Sorry. It's like I'm pretty sure we had like 2 entire sessions of like the in between stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So it's all like messing together in my head. We did start in Windsor. I think it was just before the festival.
It was like the 17th of the month, 18th.
And Kane had his +1 brought along.
And Calda as Wingmom.
Yes. They spent some time there. Also, took Morticia over down into the Greenwater with the Druid camp. Lars went off to be a dad, like a square.
Hey, listen. He's a dad. Alright? Big dad energy.
After that, I think it was mostly just that. Calda proceeded to destroy a small, like, group of people in a wrestling competition.
Yeah.
Kane included.
I'm a vigilante in 2 cities now. Fuck yeah!
Kane included in that kill count.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He got decimated.
So sad to see him go.
Sometimes I can still hear his voice.
Stop telling people I'm dead.
Alsana got word that as I pull up the thing to remember the name, that Nyx wanted a kind of an escort. From
Easy way to return.
Yep. From the camp down to Adra.
Audra works.
Adra. And also goes, oh, well, actually, we were just heading that way. So that's convenient. Also went and kind of very stubbornly made friends and helped out Brock with his weird Fey patron stuff he was doing and hiding. And then we went and we did the ritual at the big tree. I believe it was Kane and Dolaris.
Yep. Two muscle, not muscle buddies. Two archer buddies.
Was there anything after that?
No,
No, we just sort of.
we ended
did
the
this
session there.
all the night. Yeah.
Other than a brief argument between Kane and the presence of Morticia.
Yeah, that happened.
That's right.
Well, anyways, ritual's done.
Yep, you guys rest for the night. Reconvene in the morning. Morticia is about ready to head back to Windsor. She took a fairly long vacation.
Alsana is sad to see her go, but lets her.
Yep. You get a hug and an invitation to drop by anytime you're back in the city. Let her know how you're doing.
Absolutely. And if there's any complicated and high need thing if you really need to talk to a corpse, if like a king dies or something, send me a message.
I'll find a way.
Kane's gonna try to meet up Morticia after
Okay.
her and
Yeah.
Alsana split for a bit.
Yeah, you can catch up with her as she's about to leave the camp area. She's about to be guided by, I believe Moss would be available. Yeah, he's fully recovered by now from the incident with the necromancer, so she's getting ready to go, and Moss is about to head out with you. But you catch their attention at the edge of camp and jog on up.
I'm gonna kind of nod to her and just kind of put a hand out, like, no hard feelings about last night, I hope.
No hard feelings at all. And she takes your hand and gives it a shake.
And, I have to ask only because my sister is my sister. Did she try to sneak you into watching anyways?
Sneak me into watching anyways?
Yeah, she's the type to try.
Well, I got to watch, I just didn't get to listen.
Oh, that's what I mean. Okay.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Just wanted to check. She, seems like anything I offer, she seems to not love to agree with, so I just wanted to ask.
I suppose the question is whether you trust me. She just smiles.
He kind of shrugs. It's like, I trust you more than I trust her, and I'm more confident in her ability to lie to my face than I'm confident in yours. Again, no hard feelings, just...
No. It's just amusing how almost naive you seem sometimes.
Yeah, not the first time I've been told that.
But no, don't worry, I didn't hear a thing, and frankly, I'm not sure who I would tell about what I witnessed, even if I cared to.
Oh, it's not a matter of trusting your character and who you tell. It's more of... It's information I like to be spread as little as possible. Time being. Just in case it gets let out accidentally or someone is looking to find out. Fewer options for someone to...
Well, I'm sure that since the information exists at all, and since it was given to you, chances are that somebody else out there probably already knows it. In a way completely unattached.
I now see why you get along with her. You just really like that whole ominous vibe, eh?
Oh, perhaps. But knowledge does have a certain way of spreading.
Oh, for sure.
Now, whether it's twisted by time and gossip or whether it's accurate is the real question.
And, well, hopefully it's knowledge that won't be too disastrous at the current level of diffusion.
I must say, it's something of a relief to know that this is what you wanted to talk to me about. For an instant, I was afraid that I was about to get the "if you hurt her, I'll hunt you down" talk.
If you hurt her, I'll be hunting you down to protect you. She's faster than I am, and her magic is far more powerful than any of my swords.
Well, then you might as well save your energy.
Of course. And frankly, you got enough of a spooky vibe that I assume you have some kind of protection.
I will neither confirm nor deny that, just in case.
Good choice. Now, if you hurt Calda, I may have to hurt you. But otherwise, I think
I don't believe I'll ever be in a position to hurt Calda.
yeah, she is pretty impenetrable, isn't she?
Quite. Now, was there anything else that you needed to warn or question me about?
The woods can be kind of dangerous, so keep an eye out, but you've got Moss over here, he'll keep you safe.
I have utmost confidence in his abilities.
Good, as you should. So kind of go shake a hand once more. Have a safe trip.
Thank you, and you as well.
Smiles and kind of pats Moss on the shoulder and like, keep her safe.
And I have utmost confidence in Alsana's abilities as well, but if I can prevail upon you one favor,
Oh, for sure.
keep an eye on her. She flies high, but, well, it's always good to have a pair of eyes and feet and arms on the ground.
Yeah. We don't want her to turn into a witch version of Isosceles. Too close to the sun and all that.
I saw.
Is that not the right name?
Go and tell her that. Just
Okay, not the right name. Got it.
go and tell her that. I'm almost disappointed that I would not get to see it. Well,
Kinda
goodbye.
smile at her and wave.
Morticia, with Moss, heads out of the camp and disappears into the trees.
Do-do-do-do.
All
All
right.
right. Calder's gonna go find. Is Dara the head of the camp, sorta?
Yes, Dara is the elder.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go find Dara.
All right. You go find this elderly wood elf, kind of directing a little bit of traffic and efforts as the druids are beginning to pack up their camp in a little bit more earnest, intending to move a bit further north.
Okay, Calder's gonna just go up to her and just try and maybe just give her a light tap on the kneecap. I don't know how tall she is. I'm sure
She's fairly
Tap on
tall.
the kneecap.
I can't reach her shoulders, man.
Oh my god.
She has high wisdom, probably noticed you coming. So as you approach, she turns towards you. May I help you, young one?
So, you know how my daughter's here learning some stuff from Nevi?
Yes.
I was wondering if for I'm not sure how long it'll be, but in about 5 days, are you guys still going to be here or are you guys going north soon?
We'll be going north fairly soon. If you need to retrieve her at any time, however, I can send perhaps Talon along to guide you through the forest.
I wouldn't be the one retrieving her. My husband and my other 2 kids are coming from Ambarion. Maybe they'll be here in 4 days?
I see. Either way, we can always send Talon either to bring them here or to bring your daughter to them, whichever you would prefer.
I told my husband sort of about her and some druidic affinity. She's apparently really good with magic. I'm very proud. Oh my gosh. But they're coming to Resmond, so maybe on the 4th or 5th Talon could go to Resmond. I'd be willing to offer pay or anything he'd need to while he was there, but just to guide them there to meet up with her.
We should be able to arrange something. I would have you talk to Talon directly, but let him know that I sent you.
Okay, do you know where he'd be?
He should be, yes, right over there. And she points out where you see Talon kind of struggling to help fold a tarp. It's kind of it's doing the thing where you've got a sheet, but you don't really care how well the corners are matching. And so with each fold, it's getting a little bit more askew until he ends up with a flat bundle that has corners and edges sticking out at every which angle, and he just looks down at it with this expression of how this happened.
God, it's like a fitted sheet.
Okay, Calder's gonna just go, thank you, ma'am, to Dara, and just run off towards Talon. Talon! Pass me the sheet! I need to talk to you. But I'll fold the sheet for you.
Yeah, sure. Anything you say. He passes over to the sheet very willingly.
Yeah, Calder's just gonna slowly start folding it while talking. So my daughter's here. Have you met her, right?
Yeah, I've run across the ankle biter.
Oh, that's a great nickname for her. Gotta remember that one. So, my husband and my other kids are coming from Ambarion, and they're trying to meet in Resmond, but I'm not sure if we'll still be here or if the camp will still be here. So, if we're still here, I'll also accompany you. But I may need you to go to Resmond, and I'll be offering to pay for anything as well. And Dara sent me to ask you to bring them back to the camp to see Rose, or bring her there. Probably just to bring them back to the camp for a little bit.
Hmm. Honestly,
Sorry, that was an accident.
that's fine. Kind of makes a face. I almost feel like it'd be easier to move her to Resmond and back than to move. How many of them are there?
There's 3 of them. Yeah, maybe we should bring her to Resmond. I'll come with you then. Then I'll definitely come with you.
Okay, yeah, that'd probably be a lot easier just for keeping an eye on people, making sure they don't touch any plants they shouldn't, or things like that.
That's fair. My youngest is very inquisitive. All right. And my husband is too. Good gods.
Yeah, sorry, not really up to, like, babysitting, Yeah.
Just watching them. Yeah, some of them. Yes, that's all right. Yeah. Would you need payment or any of that?
He kind of pauses and looks at you. How much would you be offering?
So it'd be maybe 1 or 2 days. I could offer. Oh, I don't know. You're such a good boy. 2 platinum.
You see his eyes go wide. Okay, yeah, sure, I could do that, yeah.
Yeah, Coda takes the platinum out of her pockets now and just hands it to him.
Okay, half now, half on. Yeah, okay, yep, good business.
No, those both of them. That's 2. If you want 2 more, I can give you 2 more.
Okay, I thought you handed him 1. I misheard.
No, I handed
DM's fault.
He can't believe it until he slides the 2 apart.
Yep. And then he does, and it's like, oh, okay. Yep. Couple of days, I am all yours, and Rose is gonna get there and back without, like, so much as getting a rash from poison oak. Probably.
Have your word.
Unless she actually goes up to it and, like, grabs hold of it after I've told her not to or something. I can't guarantee that.
She usually doesn't. But that's fair.
Okay.
Shit, I need to go find my daughter. Shit, I need to go find my friends.
You can find Nevi really easily. She just changed to, like, summer plumage, so, yeah, just look for the glow.
Yeah, Coda, like, slides in just, Nevi! And, like, tries to slide in.
Go ahead and do a quick little perception check just for spotting it.
Roll. Okay.
You've got an owl on your shoulder, too, just reminding you. You've
That
got
is
Mori.
true. Can I send him up?
Yeah, you can send Mori, circling around the camp. There it is.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. He can see.
You send Mori up after you glance around, but you're just a little bit too low of a vantage point, so there's still some half-constructed tents and stuff, and honestly, the layout of the camp has gotten a little bit jumbled with people moving things. How they have this much stuff is beyond you. But after a moment of glancing around, you send up Mori, and near instantly, there's an image sent to your mind of, yep, just around these crates, under this hanging bit of laundry, and on the other side of this tree, there is an orange glow, like a little bit of firelight in the daytime.
Caldo's, like, just speed walking towards there. Oh, Nevi. 1 second. Okay.
Yep, you come across an Eladrin, an elven figure, with the same facial structure and build as Nevi, but everything seems less green and growing and spring-like. It has transitioned now, it seems, into hair not dissimilar to fire, but more golden in color. Bright eyes, faint glow coming off the somewhat freckled skin.
You look very vibrant. Very nice.
Thank you. Summer is a very vibrant time.
That's very fair. Have you seen my daughter?
Oh yeah, I just sent her to get Biscuit a good walk and a few blips around the camp. She should be back in a couple minutes.
Alright, give me time to catch my breath. How's the move and all this stuff going? How many times do you usually do that?
Well, we usually make a round trip at least every few months of the forest. It's a lot of ground for us to keep an eye on at once.
That's fair, because you guys maybe take up, what, not even an eighth of this entire forest when you're doing this?
Not even an eighth.
That's a big forest.
We are small creatures taking care of it, making sure that nothing comes back that shouldn't, making sure that things that have gone to rest go to rest and stay at rest.
Making sure no houses try to eat people.
Well, that too. We should be in about the vicinity of that. We had Shield go check it out while you guys were off doing your own things, but it seems clear for now. It'd be good to be able to give a more thorough sweep of the region, though.
That's fair. That's very fair. Need help folding anything? Talon needed me to help fold a sheet.
I'm actually mostly packed. I don't need too much. I'm used to traveling very, very, very light between here and the Feywild. I also had another pair of hands.
That is true. I was gonna glance around because she's tapping her foot looking for anyone who needs help with anything while waiting for Rose.
As you glance around, actually, it only takes a moment before suddenly, poof, there's this bundle of white fur and happy dog face and pricked ears right in your face.
Oh, that's a Biscuit.
There's a...
Hello, Biscuit. Now where is your owner? And I was joking, looking around.
Just behind you hear a laugh and running footsteps approaching from around another tent. And skidding into view is Rose. Bright-eyed, bright-cheeked, happy smile.
Ah, there you are, dear, and gives her a hair ruffle.
Hey, Mom!
So, guess what?
What?
You and I and Talon.
This look crosses her face, kind of like, oh, not that guy.
He's going to be helping us out, but we are going to be going to Resmond, or you and him are probably going to be going to Resmond, because Dad, Osborne, and Tierna are coming.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Do they know?
Yeah, they know. Well, Dad knows. I don't know if he told the others, but probably would have.
Okay, yeah. Okay, are we going now?
I still need to talk to my friends about what's going to be going on, and we'll figure it out, because they're traveling at this point now.
Oh.
It's going to take them a couple days, okay, dear?
Okay. I'm already packed. Well, mostly. I still have, my toothbrush out and everything, but I can pack that really fast.
Yeah, go get your toothbrush, and then I'll give you a lift, and we can go find our friends together, all three of us, and she gives, Biscuit a little bit of a pet.
Okay, so I need to be packed now. Be right back.
Okay.
She takes off, returns just a couple minutes later with a small bag of items. Change of clothes given to her by some of the druids, personal care items, a few trinkets that she either perhaps carried from the Feywild or just collected here in the almost, not a month, but the few weeks that she has been living among them.
Okay, Kyle's gonna go up to him and just be like, thank you so much for taking care of Rose the entire time we were here, and if we don't see you soon, I hope to see you again, and just tell everyone thank you so much.
Of course. We'll be happy to see her back if she does wish to or is able to come back. She's a promising student.
Oh, yeah, of course she is, and I'll ruffle her hair again and just pick her up onto her shoulders.
There's this faint, but she seems pleased.
Come on, you're my eyes now. I'm gonna send. She sends Mori up and around to look around too. Help me find my friends. Let's go.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and do a Mori perception. He's probably gonna get it. 19. Yep. Mori picks up on some of the distinctive glints of light off of Elaris's crossbows, Kane's height, and yep, there's Alsana kind of floating on a broom in the branches of the tree, watching some people.
Yep. Caldo sort of just be like, "Hello, friends."
Yep. You guys all gather together.
Oh,
Calder would
hello
like
down
to
there.
speak with you.
So,
I smoke on this pipe.
what's the
Biscuit
plan
comes
after this?
What's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan after this?
What is the plan?
I was
The
hoping,
Howling Plains, right?
well, to a point, but we can't just kind of walk in there. We
We'll find every other tribe.
Kane, are you aware of the Howling Plains proper?
Kane lived in the Moormarsh. What does he know about the Howling Plains?
Howling Plains, not too far from the Moormarsh. Go ahead and give a history check. It's not advantage, but it's a low DC. Okay. For the most part, you know everything that everybody knows about the Howling Plains. They are a place of death and danger. Crossing them is madness near suicide. However, there are tales, rumors, urban legends almost of, yes, I heard that somebody actually crossed the plains successfully. Yes, they got through it alive with their sanity intact. You've heard rumors and tales of everything from mad beasts to weird magics to various insane humanoids that somehow scratch out a living there. You've actually heard that there are or might be some orcish tribes that somehow survive in that area. You've never actually met anybody claiming to be from one of those tribes, but you've heard about this concept.
I mean, I've heard that it sucks and it's not good for the brain.
So you'd like to just go waltzing in there?
I mean, I figure we go in for a couple days, see if we find the shrine, if not leave, so we're not sitting there the entire time.
Kane, I don't think you fully comprehend what going in there for a couple days could mean.
Could mean the loss of our sanity, yes.
It's an example. I mean, we head in, head out, kind of guerrilla warfare style, so we're not staying in there the whole time.
Or we could, take this with some sort of tact and information gathering and stop by some of the various settlements nearby them.
I agree.
I like that.
Usually,
Find any knowledge about, I don't know, maybe an old hermit who lives by it and is a master explorer who can guide you through it. You know, that kind of crap there always is around these parts.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that idea. The surrounding towns. Maybe in the next few days we can head to Resmond. Just the four of us.
Insight check.
Feel free.
Yeah, I want to insight check as well.
Of note, Rose is standing here, right by Calda,
With a backpack over her shoulder.
with a backpack over her shoulder.
Yeah, insight check. Oh,
Fuck all of you.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm a
okay.
paladin.
I mean, she suggests going to Resmond. You don't know why. She hasn't offered a reason, but you feel inclined to perhaps just take it at face value, maybe.
She still looks
Also,
like,
after-
is Rose coming with us?
She's
Also,
hard to
after-
read.
Also, after
Oh.
you rudely interrupted, Calda was gonna say, not under her breath, but that her husband and kids were going there in the next couple days.
Oh, okay. Then I see no problem in it.
Yeah, Talon's coming with, just in case Rose comes back to the tribes here.
Question,
But-
did Alsana not tell them about bringing Nyx to Ardra before?
She, I think, made a very, very brief mention of it, but no concrete plans were made. That
Okay.
was saved for this time.
Okay, yep. Just, do you remember my mention of Nyx's want to go to Ardra?
That was like the moment I got the letter from my husband, so it's really vague in my head.
Yeah.
I just as a player can't remember.
Nyx requested a escort and help to Ardra. I was more than willing because I figured we were going in that direction. Although I see things might be different now. But outside of that, I thought Ardra would have been a good start because Veravale would have been a good start, and Ardra is on the way, and we could have done research and found information on the planes.
Resmond is closer to the plains. There could be a bit more information. Or I could just go to Resmond with Talon and Rose and meet you in Audrey.
Someone's got background noise.
Yep, sorry.
Resmond is closer, although Karad is too. Is that how you say it? Karad?
Karad.
Karad.
Could just meet you.
But my point is Veravale is kind of known for their, archival resources.
Okay. Then I can meet you.
Are you willing to go on your own there?
Yeah, and if not, I think I paid Talon a little too much to guide me, so maybe
You paid Talon?
I want it to be nice. He's a sweet kid.
Well, I'm not so much worried about him if you're going with him, but, you know. I mean, you saw how we did against those shambling mounds when we got here.
Hey, we were all at that point once in our lives. But just... if you don't want me to go alone, I can still bring him.
I would recommend bringing him, yes. If anything, if you go there and nothing goes wrong, it boosts his confidence.
Okay, then I'll meet you there. Is that settled? Yeah.
Does anyone else want to head to Resmond rather than Ardra? Kane? Would you like to avoid a trip with me if you would?
No, not particularly. I think I'll give a call to. We haven't had a chance much to just see your family. I think it might be nice to have that freedom.
I suppose. Alaris?
I have no preference.
Then you can come with us.
Okay.
You're at least not completely incompetent when it comes to research.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you'll want to get going whenever I may help with packing up here, and maybe Talon and I will leave the next day or so, because it's not that long of a trip to Resmond.
Also, Alaris, if you, just as a note, while we're here for a little bit, if you've ever come across Brock or ever feel the want to talk to him, he might have a similar setup of receiving magic from an outside source as you, so... And he's a bit closeted on that fact, so... Just if you were interested to maybe give him some advice.
Perhaps.
Before we left, that is, but up to you.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll go talk to him then.
Alright, so that's that. I'll meet you in Audra or Varavel, do you guys prefer?
I mean, probably Veravale. And we could...
imagine guys will be doing most of the research.
And then we could do a sweep from there to Bahir to Dior to Kadrad, and do checks for any further leads on Howling Plains.
That's fair. Then that's where we'll meet.
And be sure to look into it while you're in Resmond as well.
I'm aware.
Alright, I think that will work.
Yep. We're
Don't
gonna
worry,
go.
there's a river going through there, Kane. You'll have something to do.
Oh, I've taken note. Don't worry.
All right. With that,
Kim will kind of just like pat Colin on the shoulder and go, take the time to appreciate your family. You're very lucky to have a good one.
We'll just give a smile and nod. Just go. I know, dear. Don't lose your head.
I'll try to be good.
It's all right.
That boy.
Yeah. Call's gonna go with Rose and see if anyone else needs help. Well, over the next before they go to
Mhm.
Resmond.
Alaris,
Yep.
come with me. I'm looking for Nix, and Brock will probably be nearby, or at least
Sure.
have direction too.
Sure.
For purposes of planning for Calda, Resmond is a day's travel, so if you set out in the morning tomorrow, you would be there in the evening tomorrow. And that would be with 3 days to spare, because they're due to be there on about the 5th.
Okay, I think Calder would set out then early, then have Talon and Rose try and hang out. That'd be interesting for like
Yeah.
a day while Calder just goes and just be like, I need information on.
Yep. Audra is a similar distance from the current location of the camp, 1 day's travel. You guys would likely head out in a morning and get there in an evening. Just depends on what day you'd want to go, if it's tomorrow or the next day or whatever. But you guys are, at least a couple of you, are heading over to the Macklefers tent, where you find pretty much the entire family working together. Nix and Brock both among them.
Alsana leans in, just hello.
There's a chorus of, hello, hello, hi, hey! How are you
Mhm.
doing, Alsana?
If you're willing to give her up, I might be here to pick up Nix for tomorrow.
You hear Nix give a happy little and there's a kind of an immediate chorus of everything varied from "oh, already?" to "well, that's good news." Just kind of ranging throughout this small clan of gnomes. Nix says, "All right, yes, I'll make sure I'm packed and ready to go, bright and early."
I believe so, yes, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, and she'll kind of like wander over to where Brock is. Is the nose in a book?
No, his hands are currently full of various sundry like household goods, and he seems to be wrapping them in bits of old sackcloth before stacking them into a larger sack.
She'll just like tap on the top of his head and just lean over.
Kind of bats you off. I saw you coming. What?
If you're interested, this is the individual. Kind of like points to Alaris. He has a bit of a similar streak as you. She's like keeping her voice down a bit for him.
Kind of reflexively glances around to see if anybody else is listening or too nearby. Okay.
Just if you're interested in talking to someone in a similar position.
Hey, Mom! Does the big pot still need to be scrubbed? Yes. What a surprise, volunteering. Well, very good. Go ahead, then. Yeah, okay, hey, could you help me carry it? He's looking at Alaris.
Sure.
Thanks, stream's not too far.
Okay.
He lets you take one handle, he takes the other, and you kind of toddle off unevenly because he is much lower to the ground than you are.
Yeah.
And the pot is a little bit more gnome size than human size, so it's kind of an awkward handle for you to grip anyway. You can only curl like 2 or 3 fingers in there. But you managed to get it to the stream, still within earshot of the camp, and occasionally you can see people through patches in the leaves, but as much privacy is likely to be given. Brock sits down, dumps the stuff there, and starts half-heartedly scrubbing at the interior.
Alsana will follow after them, and if anyone's looking to come close to them, we'll do our best to distract them.
Okay.
Also, real quick, we got a long rest, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brock's sitting there going, okay, so, Alsana's been nosy.
As
she-
per her want.
She dragged you into something?
it would seem that we both have similar experiences with pacts from otherworldly beings.
Okay, so are we talking like what kind?
Mine is it's an aspect of death. The
Creepy, but I grew up in this camp, so not as creepy as you'd think.
it's the idea of crossing. It's the part of death where the soul crosses over from the
Oh.
mortal coil to the to whatever fate becomes of them in the outer worlds.
Okay, so not creepy at all, really perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal.
Yeah, I was just worried for a second that it was like murder death or something.
No, not that kind of aspect of death. No.
Yeah, okay, good.
Something much more agreeable.
Yeah, sorry, just had to make sure.
It's okay. I don't think Alsana would trust me if I were playing to the whims of a murder god of some kind.
I don't know, with her. Hmm.
No, she wouldn't. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Seriously, I don't know what else to ask. Cause I wasn't looking for advice. She just kind of was like, "Hey, here's a guy who can give advice." So she,
She does tend to do that, doesn't she?
yeah, all the time.
Hmm.
How
You're
have
not
you
as quiet
stood
as you
it?
think.
I don't care.
I thought you did.
Not with you, and not with this.
Going to
See, how do you
stay
stand
quiet.
her?
She's an acquired taste, but
Oh,
you get used to her.
like one of those fruits I heard about from like the far south, where it tastes kind of like farts.
I suppose so.
Never really tried one. Never really wanted to.
Fair enough.
Her, we're forced to endure, right?
Yes.
As this says, just turned on to pick on Alsana. Brock just goes quiet and continues to scrub at the pot, now looking like he maybe regrets taking this as an excuse to leave the camp area.
Yeah.
Alsana like slowly floats over. It's like, look, if you don't need to go off to the side just to poke fun at me.
Yeah, no. I just don't know what I'm supposed to ask about. Like, I'm doing my own thing. You know.
Well, what is your patron then?
Glances at Alsana, looks at Alaris. Faye.
See, I keep my secrets.
Okay. Well,
Nothing to do with death or crossing over, though.
yeah. Every warlock has different patrons, though some share patrons. It's a complicated matter, but from what I know, they're and he'll look to Alsana. Generally, okay. There's like an air of uncertainty to his voice. Like they're generally all right. Yeah.
They can be nice, yes, and I think he has a nice one.
Okay. So yeah, so long as you know the terms of your pact, then you should be okay.
I mean, yeah.
How about this, if I might kick this talk along a bit? How about you reassure him that there's no need to really fear other people knowing so much?
Yes, it's not as big a deal as being, tied to a demon or anything. There's nothing to be afraid of. You just simply gather your magic from. You've just simply signed a contract to have magic, rather than learn it like a wizard or be born with it like a sorcerer.
Or have a knack for it like a druid.
Well, that's nature magic.
Yeah, I know.
Different.
Yeah, I know. Well, on the upside, mine was able to kind of grant me whatever a little bit of magic that is nature, so
That's good.
fits in a little. Mom keeps asking, though, when I'm gonna join lessons with her, if I'm gonna let Tanera tutor me, or. I don't know how else I can keep brushing them off. Their magic doesn't work for me the same way.
Yes. You need to sort of bring it to the forefront. Which can be scary, I know. It came as a shock to my wife as when I told her, but I assure you there's nothing has changed about you, right?
I mean, no, but they'll probably just look at me different.
You'll never know until you tell them.
No,
if
it's
they
just.
love you, then they won't really.
It's not that, it's. You know, you hear the stories about the bad ones.
It's
The
the vocal
evil.
minority.
Or the patrons that take advantage. You know, the bad ones.
Vocal minority. There are a fair few good warlocks out there.
This one being a sparkling example.
And
She kind of like
sort
floats over and like ruffles the hair, the hand through his hair.
Thank you, Alsana. As he looked kind of uncomfortable about it, but he's just like, oh, okay, thanks.
How about this then? Just an idea I'll throw out. Stop me if you want to. There's a fair few options and tutors that I'm sure your parents have brought up. But, I mean, they're not completely alien to the idea of, I don't know, one of their kids going out and learning what they want to do in a different manner from different teachers. I mean, Nyx is going all the way to Ardra.
Yeah, well, Nyx isn't doing any magic.
Mm-hmm. And there's always different kinds of magic. It takes certain kinds of druids to be fully aware of everything that goes on in the world of the arcane. I just mean to say that, well, maybe, if he's feeling up to it, Lars could give some tutorship in the future. She kind of has this grin towards Lars.
Brock kind of gives a look at Alaris, like, little non-committal, neither one way or another. But there's a question mark on it.
Yeah.
Alright, she just volunteered you.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. It's not my first time being a scholar and a tutor, I guess.
I think about it, but
Just an option, but also an option that you could put out and not necessarily commit to, but use as a excuse to get yourself out.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They think what I do is the same as what they do because they've only seen me like play around with, and he makes a gesture you recognize as druid craft, and you see the little you see a plant next to him kind of sprout a few extra leaves in a bud.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Now, mind you, there's many examples of other things like that for, and she like snaps her fingers together with Sacred Flame. This is usually one for holy folk. I'm still a druid.
And he'll pull out his crossbow, and as the bolt starts to glow slightly, as he uses branding smite, he's not going to use it, but it's like this is usually used by paladins, but I have special privileges from my patron.
Yeah, but have you been letting people kind of believe for a while now that you're actually a paladin?
Well, no, never felt the need to.
But also, if he was just beginning to understand his magics and only really had that to show for it, I wouldn't blame him for thinking it himself.
Probably would.
I'll think about it.
Just letting you know options.
Yeah. Okay, look, if the tutoring thing or whatever happened, would I have to go wherever you are from?
No, I'm
see,
a fairly traveled person.
The tutoring thing could be a ticket, as it were. Free for you to cash in if you'd want. And
yeah.
I'd imagine he is a bit of a family man, so you might find yourself around Soren and Walton in that area a bit, if you did want to.
All the way over in Soren? That's so far away.
It is quite far. But I am pretty traveled, so I could come over here.
And on top of that, you don't necessarily have to, explicitly go there and be there all 24 hours of the day,
No.
I'd be more than willing to keep a checkup on you now and again.
I've never lived outside of the camp and Greenwater, and
Well, I suppose the question is, would you ever want to?
not really.
How about this, then? You're worried about, how they look at you and that, right?
Yeah. I guess, a little.
But if you had to put some money down on it, out of anyone in this camp, excluding me, because you already know the answer, who do you think would be the least likely to ever look at you different?
Nevi.
There's a good start. Let's go for a second one, then. You're going so well already. Who would have the wisdom of over 500 years to know that there are good ones and bad ones? And which you are.
I'm not gonna go bother Dara with this.
I'm not going to say you have to go bother her. But if it was both her and Nevi, explaining that you're in a different path of magic. One that you may not even been fully aware of earlier. It might be the reason you had struggles before. Because it wasn't quite right for you. Maybe you could have a potential tutor come and visit now and again and help you along with it. Just an idea.
Oh.
And should you ever find yourself taken by Wanderlust in the future, I'm sure there's plenty of opportunity we could offer up in that direction too.
Alright, okay, I'll think about all of that.
Just something to think about. We're not in a rush right now. But I'd hate to see you sit here and stew on keeping things close to your chest, when it's clearly something you're passionate about. Enough to make a pact, at least.
Alright. Yeah.
Well, I think that pot's looking pretty clean. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good enough for me, at least.
Yeah, I'll help it back too.
Yeah.
balance out this plates on sticks act we've got going here.
All right. Balancing the pot between you, you guys head back into the proper part of camp. Calda and Kane have been lending hands here and there, everywhere. Brock goes back to his family to continue to help with preparations for the move.
As they're kind of walking out, Alsana just like, thank you for that. I hope I'm not pressuring too much onto you.
Yeah, I'm surprised your nose hasn't been bitten off yet, the number of places you stick it into.
Oh, well, sometimes you find treasures in spots.
Well, good luck with that. Later.
She waves off. And you as well. And looks to Alaris.
Yeah.
I do much to make sure he can practice his magic in his own way, but if I'm wrangling you in a bit too deep to this, just let me know.
That's okay.
Well, thank you. She just gives Alaris a quick hug.
No problem. And he hugs back, obviously.
Alright, shall we get back to go?
Yeah.
All right. Come morning, two groups leave the camp in a similar...
Sorry. Before they go, Calda is going to pull Kane aside, like, early in the morning.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey,
Oh, hey. Need some help packing?
come with me. Come with us. I want you to meet the family.
But it's your family. Well, I don't want to intrude.
And you're a part of that family. I may have a son, but you're, I may have a son, but you're like a son to me. I still want to see you after all of this ends, and I want you to stick around and have people who care, and I want you to meet them.
If that's, if you do really want that, sure, but genuinely, it's no obligation. It's your family. You have the right to want to keep them private.
And I would have kept them private if I would have not asked you if I wanted to keep it private, Kane.
Kind of just...
I would have asked everyone,
No.
but they just want to go research. I would have just really asked everyone, but I think they want to get to Faravel.
In that case, sure. But if I'm being a nuisance, just tell me. I'll take the long road around and get to Veriver.
You won't be, I promise. And they'll keep everyone a little safer.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna go, tell Alsana she's free for me for another couple days. I'm sure she'll be joyous.
We still have a few days to look around Resmond, too. They're coming on the 5th, probably.
Okay.
Just thank you, I suppose.
And of course, thank you for wanting to be part of that family.
Of course. You're a good person, and you're an honest man.
I'll try to be the best for them that I can be.
You just try. That's all you need to do. I'll go get Rose. I think we're leaving a little later, or at a point.
He'll kind of nod and make his way over to Asana's camp.
Just hard cut. You're ditching us, really?
As you guys travel
nothing more.
south together for at least a little ways before you start to split off from each other.
Do you
Although
really
just
think I'll be
keep-
any useful in the research?
No, but I want you to meet the family. I really don't know if Resmond's going to be good or not for research, honestly.
This is in the pool group, right?
No.
What? Am
Sorry,
I-
I was meaning to that, Julsana.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so are
Okay.
we on the path, or is this Kane at Alsana's camp before they leave?
Your choice. What do you
I was
guys
gonna do
want?
it before we left.
Okay.
So our she's like leading over tent. You're ditching us, really?
Do you really think I'll be any use researching?
I believe it's your choice, but keep them safe, then, would you?
Of course. And just to be clear, Alsana,
She just
I
looks
know
at him.
we've had issues. I know we've had issues, but I want to make a new family, one that's happier, and I do want you to be a part of it. But I do want
Alright.
Calda to be a part of it as well. I think this is an important step to that. She's trusting me around her children, one of which who was gone for so long. That means a lot.
How about you go with the one that seems much more natural and you don't have to force yourself around? I'd recommend it, personally.
Personally, I'd like to get to that point with you too. I'm not gonna force it though if you don't want it.
Alright. Save the pleasantries.
And he's gonna kind of look over to Alaris' tent. Hey, Alaris,
Yep.
going to Resmond instead. You want a souvenir?
Sure.
Cool. He's gonna walk over back to meet up with Calda.
Hey, all good?
I think Alsana's gonna enjoy the separation for me.
Oh. You know, I'm a sucker for families, but unfortunately sometimes it's just... I'm sorry, but shit.
Better than it used to be, at least.
That's fair. Okay. Let's go get
So.
the girl and the dog and the edgelord.
Oh, sounds like the beginning to a great novel.
All right. You collect the girl, the dog, and the edgelord. The other.
It's the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I love the new Narnia book.
Wow.
The other party also can be.
The closet's in the
Also
mimic
collects the
house.
girl, the dad, and the, I
Yeah.
don't know.
The girl, the dad, and the broom.
The girl, the dad, and the patron.
Sure.
Ooh, the patron's good.
All right. And you continue down the path for about an hour or two, and then split up when it comes to a point where it's very clear one needs to go west and the other east. So, let's go ahead and start with. Let's go ahead and start with Resmond, since you guys are just going to be getting into town, then you have a little time to wait.
As just a small note, on their way there,
Mm-hmm.
also I'll just look over Lars. By the way, Lars, have you been looking into that weird black bead you've been talking about before?
Not this morning, but sure, I can do that. Yeah. Then I'll
Go
do
ahead.
that.
Charisma check.
Charisma check. 16.
Technically, would you have been doing it for a while now? Because you
I
did
would've
miss
been
a
doing it
session.
For a while. Yeah, I did miss a session.
Go ahead and roll like 10 d20s. You've got a +4, so I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
Oh, just r slash and then make it 8d20 now.
8d20.
Yeah,
Although that is a 23.
far more condensed, but yes, that is a 23. I'm just gonna see if he gets any.
Oh, fuck.
I'm sorry.
Slash R.
I reversed the.
That's
Uh,
a
Right,
Reddit.
subreddit.
That's Reddit. It's Reddit.
Ah. All right.
Ooh, that 19 though.
Yeah, that 19.
Two 223s.
Yeah. 223s. It's you need a 20 or higher, so none of those are a 16, except for those two.
Oh, there's 116 at the beginning.
That's with
They're
modifier.
Oh, no,
no,
that's with charisma.
just the raw rolls.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing this morning, but on some previous days, you felt something beginning to give. You felt it beginning to connect. As of the 1-2, you're thinking just one more good day, just one
more
more good
yeah.
attempt, and you're gonna crack whatever this thing is wide open.
Yeah.
Real
So
quick, he had a 16 today.
Feel like I'm getting
20. DC 20, but you have to roll a
I
16.
was gonna ask, could Alsana have given him a guidance on that one?
You know, because she brought it up, I will allow this.
Okay,
Go ahead
that's-
and roll a d4. Elaris, 1d4.
roll a d4.
Yep,
Big money. Aw.
not
Yeah.
quite. You feel like it's close. Every time
I'm so
Yeah.
close to making a breakthrough, but I don't.
the 2 times that you connected with it and almost opened it up, got it closer and closer to opening up, you felt a very distinct, almost presence of just the idea of the Shadowfell, the feeling you get when you're in those dreams talking to your patron.
Yes.
Something is there, something is familiar, something is waiting for your will. Those 2 times that it hit something inside, you almost felt like you could take that orb and mold it the way that you saw your patron do, though it's not had any give to it yet. It was just a feeling in your gut. This concept of, I could take hold of this and I could just make it something. It hasn't happened yet. But that's what you felt.
The next time you feel like staring into the void, let me know, and maybe I can help round you up a bit.
That could work.
Yep.
Alright.
And then they split off.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if Alars are going to shoot lasers from his eyes while the party's still together.
Not quite yet, but we'll see.
Just. Like, oh my god.
Yep. Laser light show.
Yeah.
All the lasers are somehow black, though.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's weird.
Edgy as possible.
Fanta lasers.
Dark saber lasers. Yeah.
All right. So, Kane, Calda, Talon, and Rose.
Oh,
And of
Talon
course
was
Biscuit.
along for that first bit, wasn't he? Okay, just Alsana teased him a bit. Moving on.
All right. Talon is happy to see the back of you. Anyway, you guys split off from the others and make your way, guided by Talon, through the forest. Eventually, hours later, after a few breaks here and there to let Rose rest her little feet and get some water. Never mind, Rose is getting a shoulder ride for a good chunk of the time. Regardless, after some hours, there's a break in the trees. You start to see more grassy hills with occasional stands of forest woodland that get a little bit thinner and more sparse as you approach a small river and the border of a large lake, nowhere near the size of a Marimore, but big. Over the river, you see the modest walls of a town of decent size, with a dock area stretched out onto the lake. There are boats passing to and from along river, lake shore, docks, over the river and through the woods, in reverse.
That's fair.
And over that river is a high bridge. It's got a tall arc to allow even some sailing vessels to pass underneath it. You guys climb on over it and get to the gates of Resmond late in the evening. It's not yet growing dark, but the sun is low on the horizon beyond the city itself. You enter in this dimming golden light. You can hear some of the evening insects, crickets, and other sorts beginning to chirp, as summer has well and truly arrived by this time. You pass into the town. It's fairly lively, despite the lateness of the hour. Somewhat bustling. There's some wide streets, quite a few merchant stalls and caravans and other things of that sort. You have to keep to the sides to allow various carts and horses and livestock to be driven through. But you're able to get in. You would probably have a number of inns to choose from. Do you guys have any preferences for size, style, price, anything like that?
A nicer one, not like high end, probably just comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, family friendly. Except pets. Pet friendly.
All right.
Keep in mind you have a teleporting fucking dog this entire time.
Pet friendly.
Pet friendly. I'll say you're able to find one.
Maybe one that isn't, if it's not very busy, just in case Biscuit teleports into rooms.
Go ahead and, let's just go ahead and roll an investigation check, perhaps. Just
Oh boy.
Can you
Whichever
imagine you're like
number.
sitting in your hotel room and a Shiba just like appears for half a second and then disappears?
You'd probably be sitting there going, "What did I eat? What was in the food here?
Yep.
Oh my god!"
See, depending on who you are as a person, that can be a positive or negative reaction.
Golden Retriever just clipping through the walls.
It would make Ashta very happy, but very confused, probably, wouldn't it?
Just a bit.
Yep.
At least family friendly, that's what we're trying.
An 8, a 9. Middle of the night, poof, bork, bork.
You find the family-friendly shanty whore.
Or is a family name.
Generation and generations of whores have run this establishment.
We have a brothel next door.
It's called Mike's.
You come across a place called the Singing Violin. Unfortunately, when you ask about whether they accept pets or animals, you're told only out in the stables. Dog's gonna have to stay outside, he says.
I don't bend down. I thought I was like 5 feet tall. I look at Biscuit in the eyes.
Yeah.
You okay staying in the stables, bud? I know, bud. Only for a couple nights, okay?
Kind of puts a paw on your shoulder. His deep, deep, soulful eyes staring into yours.
We'll come and take you for walks every day. Kane, you're not staying in the stables.
You see a little tail wag and he takes his paw down, turns towards the door, looks back at you.
See, you can help us talk to people, too. We'll take you for such nice walks, Kane. On everything that is good to me, you are not staying in the stables. How about Maury stays with you and Maury will, flutter and land on his head?
Alright, he takes the owl. The dog just allows the owl to land on his head. And he heads out the door. The innkeep says, "Huh, that is creepily well trained."
Yeah, he can understand us pretty well. So is there a fee if he accidentally gets in here?
He gives you a look. Yeah, there's a
a,
fee.
what's the fee? I'll just pay it now.
The dog isn't allowed in here. The fee is you get kicked out.
Shit. Do you have any other inns that let dogs in? Ones that you redirect them to if they have a dog?
He shrugs. No, really. Look, do you want a room or do you want to just head back out?
Sure, for tonight. And Calder will just pay up for the night.
One room or two?
Let's do 2.
Alright. He gets you guys rooms, one for Rose and Calda, the other for Kane and Talon, who is kind of sticking around so that he can do any escorts back that might be necessary.
Calder will thank him just for the few days help.
It's not a super expensive inn. For the few days, just go ahead and mark off 2 gold just for room, board, everything.
Alrighty.
Kane will, as soon as the rooms are paid for, just kind of look to call him. I'm gonna go console the dog.
You can go console the dog. If you find anyone out there, just ask about the planes.
He's gonna go to the stables to go give the dog a hug.
Alright. You go to the stables, and there's a couple of horses in there. You look around, you see Biscuit actually currently lying on his back, paws in the air, belly up, tongue hanging out the side of his mouth, his eyes are closed and gleam, his tail's wagging, as outside one of the stall doors with a horse currently in it, you see I think a young human male. Yep. Young man. Pale hair. Seems to be wearing a chain shirt, has a shield over his back, and a spear underneath it. He's sitting there giving Biscuit all the belly rubs.
Kane will kind of whistle for Biscuit.
And Biscuit immediately kind of throws himself over, hops up, and runs over to you. You see Maury perched.
Good.
Maury's just perched on one of the rafters overhead.
Okay. He'll kind of start scratching the dog's ears and look up to the guy playing with him. It's sorry about that. Just want to make sure he's doing it right.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. Your dog?
Help him take care of it.
Yeah.
You don't seem like the average person here for a drink at the inn.
Well, fairly average, yeah, but not really from around here, I guess, if that's what you mean. He's a good dog.
Yeah, really well trained. Name's Biscuit. Well, the dog's name. I'm Kane.
Biscuit would be an unfortunate name. I'm Max. Puts out a hand. Short for Maxwell.
Nice to meet you, Maxwell. I'd tell you what Kane is short for, but it might take me a few minutes.
Well, you staying at this inn, I guess?
Yeah, for the time. At least until we can find a better place to help keep the dog out of the stables.
DM question. Is Kane wearing any weapons outwardly?
Yeah, he's wearing... he's always wearing the Sword of Thorns.
Mm-hmm.
Usually has his Javelin of Lightning over his back.
Mm-hmm.
And right now would probably also have his glaive ready.
Mm-hmm. You see this guy kind of give you a glance over. Those are some really impressive looking weapons.
I only show off the best ones while I walk.
Must be nice being able to pick and choose. I've only got this one right here. He points at the spear over his back.
Kane was almost offended at this statement.
Wouldn't mind collecting a few more eventually. Well, I mean, there's also... He picks up his leg and shows you just the top bit of a boot dagger and then puts it back.
A young traveler, unfortunate such that he only has 2 weapons.
Well, I've also...
What have we gone wrong as a society?
To be fair, I'm not traveling just by myself. Got a friend of mine who also is pretty handy in a fight, so it's not like I'm in a tough spot by it. I wouldn't mind picking up a few more, though. You recommend Smith, maybe? Where you got those, or?
Nowhere from around here, but I can take a look at it if you want. I've got some own practice going on. Where do you usually come from? You said you're not from here.
Oh, we're from over Bellet Way. Well, really, in the outskirts of it, but we've been traveling for a few months, trying to follow a trail, find word.
Huh. Trail of someone who's gone missing.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Trail of someone who's gone missing?
Not, well, gone missing might be a way to put it. It's really more Cayenne's story than mine. I'm just here as, like, support and keep her safe.
Well, how about we head inside? I got a equally capable, if not more capable, friend. We might find some interest in the stuff you're talking about.
Sure thing. And honestly,
free
we'd
drink
welcome
and
the
a
help. Sorry?
I can't promise help, but I can offer a free drink, at least tell the story.
Honestly, even if you've just heard anything, it could help. So yeah, let's go on inside. I'll introduce you to Kai and find out if she can glean anything for your mind. I am a little bit more the muscle.
Oh, I know the feeling, brother.
That being said, information or no, I wouldn't mind a spar later on. Maybe tomorrow morning if you're still in town.
Kane's eyes light up immediately.
Is this
You
your
are
Morticia?
speaking my language.
Yeah, sure. Let's go inside. You get Biscuit bedded down in some hay. Mori can choose, or Calda can choose whether Mori stays or follows you guys inside and tries to be sneaky as an owl, but in all honesty, the barkeep did say no animals in general.
Or she's gonna chill.
Okay. And you head in. In the meantime, very easily, Calda, Rose, Talon could have found a table, gotten some food and drink. You see Kane walk in with this fairly tall, well-built young man. He looks a little bit travel-roughened, but not like a vagabond who's been out for years and years.
Okay. Oh, hey, you found a friend. Calder will sort of kneel on the chair she's on, because that technically makes her taller. And just, like, reach out, like, her hand. Calder friend. Nice to meet you.
Oh. I'm Maxwell. And he looks over, you see him wave someone over from another table. And this is my friend, almost a sister, Cayenne. And from over there you see a young tiefling woman stand up and head across. No vibrant colors, her skin tone is tanned, but relatively normal. Kind of got the horns off the forehead. She heads on over. This is my friend. Oh, well, almost a mom.
The adoption papers are going through.
I am 27.
And?
Yeah. Kai shows up, a bit shorter, more lightly built than Maxwell. I would say, Kane, with your usual ability to kind of size people up over time and abilities and so forth, she's not built for strength, she's built for speed and precision. And she's wearing kind of the studded leather armor as opposed to the slightly heavier chain shirt that Max wears.
He offers it a hand and goes, Archer, I assume?
Not quite. And you see her reach around the back and show you just the edge of a curved blade that had been hidden. And she tucks it back away.
Kind of nods. Didn't even see it back there.
It's usually best for people to underestimate me. I can't overpower them like this lug here, and she elbows Max in the side and laughs.
Yeah,
Max
I know the
says,
feeling.
these are also some travelers. Didn't know if maybe they might be able to give us a lead since we're not getting much specific.
If you need a lead, you can come join, get a drink. I'm not sure what you mean, but maybe we could help.
Any help would be appreciated. We have something of a trail, but it just leads east, in general. Galgaea, don't know anything else. I don't suppose you've come from that area, have you?
Came from the woods a little bit more. Didn't really step foot in Galgaea just yet. In maybe 4 days, we'll be on our way there.
There's a bit of a
Sorry,
grimace
where
on Kyan's face.
Where is Galgaea on the map?
Galgaea is the name of a country to the east
okay.
of the map. It includes Adra, Uliman, Veravale. The border is roughly around where Karad is in the lower edge of Greenwater Wood. Greenwater Wood is roughly no man's forest land in some ways, between not quite being Umbar, not being Galgaea, not being Azora. Resmond is also in this unique, isolated sort of location for similar reasons, but also because of the Howling Plain kind of preventing territory grabs from heading up that area.
Fair enough. I mean, I think depending on how long guys are staying around here, we're planning to head that way eventually.
Yeah, and maybe 4 days, I suppose. Who are you looking for? A lead? Looking for a person, a thing?
Person. It's a long shot, but I don't suppose you've ever heard of a bard by the name of Kirkland.
Fuck me.
Oh no!
Why?
Oh no!
Why?
Kane will put his. He goes, hold on. Is this by chance because one of you two is related to him?
Kyan grimaces.
Oh, there's a fourth one.
Oh man!
Wait,
Just letting out a chuckle. Point at Kane. That's number 2.
He's got what?
Hold on.
He's collecting
We don't know
races
that
like
number two.
Pokemon at this point.
We don't know there's number 2. There might be more than just me between Alsana and I, but yes,
That we
there's
know
a
of. And there's the kid from, where was that? Sorry?
Was it Winsathor?
Winsathor? That area.
Lyrie.
Was Poker Life. Somewhere up there.
Yeah.
She's just kind of looking between you, looking confused, her eyebrows furrowing underneath the horn ridge. Sorry, what are we talking about now?
He has a lot of kids.
His...
Kirkland. Roy Kirkland?
Yeah. Okay. Not surprising, but can't say I knew that for sure. So, you leave your mom high and dry too?
Yep. I mean, I think she might have left him high and dry, but yeah.
So you think he went east?
Last I heard. She pulls up a chair, sits down.
And Calder will get her the strongest drink on the menu.
Kane will lock eyes with Calder.
Not yet?
Alsana's in Galgaea.
Osana!
Oh no! Oh no!
Is Devin at his mic right now?
Oh,
Oh no!
Alaris is gonna
Hello?
have to shoot someone.
We found number 4!
We found number 4!
What?
We found another
I
sibling. We found another
I
sibling.
knew it.
One of them's a tiefling! That's your sister!
Yeah.
And apparently he's in the country that you're in.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Oh, I picked a nice time to fucking BRB, didn't I?
Just
Yeah.
dandy.
I'm like, oh, I'm not here. I'm not needed right now. There's a good places ain't around the washroom. Nope.
Fuck.
So what exactly was the setup here?
The tiefling lady and this guy, the person they're looking for is Roy.
And they're both kids of him, or...
No, just the tiefling.
Okay.
By the way, this is Maxwell, just so you can see.
Oh,
Ooh,
Okay.
dude's fucking jacked.
Yo.
Calder,
He's
sort
like
of
a Fire Emblem character.
You can see his definition through his leather armor. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Armor.
that's good.
Armor might not be accurate. He is wearing a chain shirt, not whatever that art is. I just picked something out of the freebie art.
Nah, this
that
dude's
works.
exploding out of it.
Yes, he's exploding
I
it.
feel
Like
Ribbon.
Hulk Hogan.
He does have very nice biceps and wide shoulders.
Very nice.
You can see that much.
Nice.
I was gonna like look at Kay and just like, why do you need to confront him, or is she like points at Maxwell? Is he gonna do something?
So wait,
Because
has
I want to join in.
real quick, has Kane explained the situation on his end yet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Roughly.
No.
Kyan had come over with a friendly face. Now you see her eyes kind of harden a little bit. Not towards you, but in general. And she says, "He broke my mom's heart. She didn't last more than a few years after he ditched her. And me. And I want to take my pound of flesh from him. Fair's fair. One heart.
You want to kill him?
She doesn't nod or shake her head. She doesn't do anything to confirm or deny. She just stares back.
Calder's like turning Rose's head away from this because she's getting a slight grin and she really shouldn't be.
And slowly over the years.
There's
More than
a,
that.
Looks up, Mom?
Mommy, what's a man whore? Hello? I don't hear anything. I'll reconnect. Hello? This is technical difficulties. Hello?
Just check.
Hello? Yeah.
fuck. Okay.
I hear you.
Is everyone-
I don't hear Ty or Ariel.
Everyone out of the pool.
I already reconnected.
I don't think
Hello?
I can hear Ariel though.
Hello, Aria?
Ariel,
We can't hear you.
Ariel.
Ariel, jump out of the pool.
Jump out of the pool.
What kind of weirdness is this?
That was
I
very
don't
weird.
know. That was very weird.
Yes.
Thank you, Discord.
Also, I have no idea if anyone leaves or joins because I have all my notification noises off.
Yeah.
Your Discord very
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is
Sorry.
everybody good?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
Kane's just gonna turn to Rose and be like, Rose, could you and Talon go check on Biscuit for me for a bit?
So wait, if it was lost real
Okay.
quick, I just threw in like, Mom, what's a man whore?
That was definitely lost.
Oh, I'm so
That
sad it
was
was lost
lost.
initially. It was like hands
Oh.
slowly over her ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Astro.
Oh, that's a terrible implication. Anyway,
Very
yep,
good. Very good.
Talon and Rose kind of get bundled out to the stables to make sure that Biscuit's doing okay out there. Maury as well, so you're able to check in periodically.
Okay, so we have a few days and we're heading to Varaville. Do you want to wait and come with us? Kane, are we joining in on this?
I'm not sure if we are, but I think at the very least Alsana deserves to know. She's another half-sibling.
Yeah, that's fair.
They kind of exchange a couple of glances and say, well, we don't really have a lead beyond just Galgaea in general. Don't know if that means the big city, don't know if that means surrounding towns. He seems to bounce between them.
Oh, does he bounce?
I'm so sad that you're not there.
I know.
That's a really good answer.
I wish.
He's also bounced on.
Yeah.
We,
God.
Hey, let's not lie here. Roy Kirkland has been pegged more than anything else. Anyways.
Well, during our travels, we will be heading sort of around
background
Gothia,
noise.
I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to start in Barravale, head to Ulaman, and to Karad and Bior. So, you can make the circuit with us.
Until we find him, at least. My owl has really good eyes. My familiar, I can sort of see through it.
That'd be handy, actually. All right.
And I keep my eye out for more weapons for you, Max.
You see Max's eyes light up a little bit.
Oh, man of my caliber.
This sounds like a good idea, he's saying to Kyan on the side. All right, a few days here. We can use that time to get a little more information. Resupply before getting back on the road.
Yeah, and while you're getting information, could you also just get some information on the Howling Plains themselves?
They kind of give you an odd look. Why?
We may or may not need to travel through them to get where we need to be. Yeah, and for a pet-friendly inn.
I'll see, but if you're going to the Howling Plains, then you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we just trade a few stories?
I think that's fair.
And they sit down, they get drinks for everybody, and you guys just start to swap tales. Things you heard, things you know. Kirkland is he is a topic. That we're gonna go ahead and leave you guys and switch over to the others.
I feel like I'm being talked about.
Yeah. You've been sneezing a lot lately.
Just a bit. I hope I'm not catching anything.
Amazing.
All right. You're heading into Adra with little Nix Maclefierce.
As they're going, Elsana might just offer. So, Nix, do you wanna try that high perspective thing I mentioned before?
Maybe once we're outside the trees. I don't want to get caught in any branches.
All right.
There's a little space between the forest edge and Adra itself. Little bit of clear ground. We can try it then.
I feel like you're delaying more than anything, but okay.
No, I'm not.
No.
It's a check.
Go ahead. She's delaying.
Whatever you say, dear.
Whatever you say.
But a few hours of relatively uneventful travel, all things considered, in the forest. Evening time comes, about when Kane and Calda are crossing the bridge to Resmond. You guys emerge from the wood, and you see the little town of Adra spread out below. Bit of a slope down in a little valley between some hills. You see the beginnings of lights in the windows as the setting sun is a little bit more blocked here with the forest in the way.
Mm-hmm.
There is no large formal wall or gate. A little bit of a barrier line of sorts between the town and the empty lands around it. You pull out the broom.
Elsana picks Nix up.
Mm-hmm. There's oh boy! She kind of wraps both hands tight-knuckled around the broom and seems unsure what to do with her legs until she kind of like crosses them at the knee underneath it and then winds her ankles around each other. She is thoroughly snaked around this broom and is holding on for dear life.
Good beginner's form. Elsana will put an arm around her just for stability.
Okay. Just a little bit up.
Yep, slowly as she goes.
Yeah. There's a slow drift upwards. You only really get about 10 12, not even 15 feet off the ground before she kind of yelped, "Stop! Stop! Stop! No more!"
Just try not to look down too much, dear. Look at the landscape.
Okay, okay. You peer around, her eyes are screwed shut until she takes a deep breath, pries them open, and looks out very deliberately towards the horizon. Slowly she dares to turn her head back and forth and looks down with you from a slightly higher vantage point, down the slope of the hill into the town. She leans forward ever so slightly, ever so stiffly, peering down and getting a better view. I almost think I can see the shop from here.
Well, it'll be good to be familiar.
I think that's the roof anyway. Okay. Okay. This is okay. But can we get down now? I want to get in there before they close up everything for the night.
Fair enough. Yeah. Hold on a bit, and she will kind of like start going forward while they're up and slowly descend.
For all the slowness and gentleness of the descent, there's still a faint little eep and the distinct impression that she's tightening her grip even harder. You hear something creak slightly. But once you get her safely on the ground, she kind of staggers off to the side a little bit. Legs seem a little shaky, but it wears off as you guys walk down into the town of Adra. As you go, Nyx clarifies that the bookshop is a little bit on the other side of town. It's closer to the Veravale side than the Greenwater Wood, but Adra itself isn't too big. You'll be able to get there fairly quickly. The bookshop is just off the town square. It seems that she has been here before. She doesn't seem overly familiar with the town, but she's able to guide you guys through the streets.
Also, I've been here before, right?
Oh yeah, you've been here before. Probably about as frequently as she has, though she might have more visits on you just because of growing up there.
Right.
Oh, she definitely has more visits on you. What am I thinking?
Yeah. Also, probably more recent too, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they'd added an arch. Neat.
Yeah. There's also a few more torches, and they're not all lit yet, but you can kind of see where the the lanterns and stuff are now on posts, and she's pointing these things out. Little updates and changes that maybe you hadn't come across in the time since you last visited. And as you enter the fairly familiar town square, the place where business is often held, markets are held, dances, celebrations, things like that. You see a couple of small children walking away with an empty basket, kind of giggling with each other. A little bit of like veggie muck on their fingers. The familiar sign of a bit of public sanctioned hazing of somebody who did a stupid thing and ended up locked in the pillory for a day or a few hours.
No.
You get into the town square, and of course you glance over, and sure enough, pillory is currently occupied, though the guard on duty there to make sure that nobody gets hazed too much is just about in the process of getting up from his little overhang of shade and fumbling for the keys. You see the apparently a man in the pillory kind of shake his head. Seems to have some kind of shaggy dark hair. Lifts his face to look up at the guard, maybe to say something. Alsana?
Yeah.
You look across, and it's been a while. But after a moment, it hits you. You know that face.
There's a hand that goes on Alaris's shoulder, and the nails dig in.
Ow, ow, ow. Okay. What's wrong? What is it? Oh, no.
Oh, he even looks like a whore.
He even looks like an asshole. Okay.
That smarmy bastard.
That right there, my friend,
Yeah.
is my manor of a father.
Oh. Okay.
The guard unlocks the pillory.
How about you
lets-
go bring Nyx to that bookstore? Make sure she gets there okay. Pat, pat.
Nyx is
Are
looking
you
back and
sure
forth,
you don't
back and
need-
forth.
Okay. I'll leave you to your business then. Just don't expect me to clean up a dead body with you.
Like I'm dead out of the town beforehand.
Please don't. From Nyx, standing next to you, looking up.
Also, like looks over and like sees the face and just.
I kind of wanted you to meet them. I mean, I think you'd love the shop. It is called Black Cat Books.
I think I've been there before, dear. I'm well aware. But
This.
I'll catch up. I promise I won't
This-
take too long, and I promise I won't get in trouble.
All right.
She kind of bends down and gives her a hug.
She hugs back.
Thank you. You
Take care.
cleared my head a bit. And
I'll
kinda
see you
ruffles her
there
hair.
soon.
Sure thing.
All right. Is that Elaris and Nyx head off towards Black Cat Books, and we'll catch up with you guys in a second because right now, Alsana, you are standing in the same square, not even 30 feet away from the long missing Roy Kirkland.
Ooh. Time for some catharsis, baby.
She's just gonna walk over to like I assume it's like a kind of a raised platform or something.
Yep, there is a little bit of a raised platform. He is just in the process of stepping down from it. The guard is giving him the usual, and don't do it again. And Roy is, no harm, no harm. I wouldn't dream of it. Honestly, though, little touchy, don't you think?
She's kind of.
I mean, it was really just one little comment, just a compliment, really.
She's walking a
God.
bit closer, just enough to be in view.
The guard glances over first and says, "Show's over. Sorry. You just missed it."
Uh-oh.
I
Roy
think I'm right on
glances over
time.
and does a double take.
What was the infraction, might I ask?
Hit on the mayor's wife from the guard.
Hmm.
Mayor wasn't keen.
How trite.
Well, we'll be more careful about the bards we hire for various celebrations from now on.
Hmm.
Gives Roy a bit of a hard look. Roy shrugs, but doesn't seem to have taken his eyes off you. He seems almost tentative, like he's trying to decide something. And hesitantly, Roy says, "I'm sorry, I might be mistaking you for someone else, but
Yeah, I suppose. Difference of height, things like that.
That was my father.
right. Little well,
Shall we
little
walk?
unexpected meeting you here."
Hmm.
The guard looks at you and says, "Now, you be careful around him, young lady."
Oh, if he was that much of a degenerate, I wouldn't be talking with him right now. Don't worry, he's not about to hit on his own daughter.
Oh, sorry, but didn't mean, sorry.
Oh.
My mistake, entirely my mistake.
At ease, soldier. She walks off. And just kind of like gives a glance over to him to follow.
Yep. And after a moment, your father picks up his feet and follows after. A little bit of a distance. After a moment, he tries this rueful little smile and runs his fingers through his hair and kind of flicks his hand to the side, and you see a little flap of some dark, unidentifiable vegetable matter and slime splatter on the cobblestones. I'm sorry. If I'd known I was going to run into family, I would have cleaned up.
Really? I mean,
Well, if you...
with how I've seen things so far, it'd be like being unexpected to hit an even number on a dartboard you throw at.
A penchant for darts. Can't say I predicted that one.
And I gotta say, I didn't think I wasn't quite sure you were going to recognize me. I mean, there's so many to keep track of nowadays, isn't there?
Kind of gives you a bit of a grimace, but also a little bit of an odd look.
Is it so hard to wrap it? I'm personal curiosity.
Oh my god.
Are you even aware of the concept?
He gives you an awkward shrug. It's personal preference. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
Yikes.
Skin award, I suppose.
Oh, something like that. So, heard anything from your brother? I'm aware that he ran away before you did. Gives you a look. What do you mean, which one?
Oh, you don't know. Oh, he doesn't know. Oh.
No. What?
Alright, for one thing, any allegations could be entirely false and cannot be proven.
Oh, you think I'm about to care about that sentence, don't you?
Well, you always were a very by-the-book child. I assumed that maybe a bit of pedantics would be right up your alley.
Out of character, my face is spasming. I don't know how to stop it.
Oh god. Oh my
So
god.
sorry.
Yikes, bro. Oh man.
Oh, well, fun thing is, he'll be on his way here in just a little bit. Cade, that is. Or Good. He calls himself Kane nowadays, not that you'd know.
Oh, I suppose not. So, how have you been? It's been a while.
Alright, you know the first question. Where'd you go?
It was just here and there. Went up Rosal, round to Natan, down Fram, brief stop in Ambarion. You know, the usual rounds. Had to earn money somehow.
So have you learned by experience somehow that... I mean, how do you gauge the age of you know, a good area to abandon children at? I see you've kind of gone on the downswing as of recent, with them not even being born yet, mind you, but... I'm just... Is it something you learned over time, or...
Now look, I wasn't going to stay away forever. It's just took a little bit longer than I expected. Some of the travel
How old
got
am I
delayed.
right now?
Well, seeing as I'm, and you were, he counts on his fingers, 27?
Oh, you take your time. I'm not even going to tell you if you're right or not.
Oh my god. You're just putting him through the ringer.
Of note, there's just, while it's a familiar face, there are more little wrinkles here and there. Corners of his mouth, around his eyes, little streaks of gray on the sides of his head. He has aged, but he doesn't look old yet. Half-elf blood. Or no, he's human, my bad.
No, He's,
You're
he's
the
still
half-elf.
Robert Downey Jr. syndrome.
Yeah, it's more that.
All right. So what? Were you just not feeling like you were up to the responsibility, or didn't like being tied down so much?
I was coming back. Had to make money somehow.
Oh,
Besides, I'm a bard. I'm made to travel. I've got to spread the music. You know,
among
That's
other
the
things.
biggest load of bullshit.
that's
I've
just
ever heard.
one of the perks of the job.
And this all is just a fireball and leaving me out in the cold.
I was coming back. I came back, but you were already gone. Just a note. Thanks for that, by the way.
I'm sure you were torn up by it.
Hey, I'll have you know, I searched the entire area twice. I even went into the woods, at least as far as those rangers would let me.
And in all your time traveling afterwards, you just weren't so much keen on looking any further. Man about the world, but can't be bothered to ask about a half-elf girl walking here to there. Maybe a half-orc boy. I mean, we wouldn't be too hard to miss now, would we?
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of half-elf girls and half-orc boys. Especially around the Deep Thicket and Broken Hills, and
Other
honestly,
various places you've been. I came across Auntie before you.
oh good, how's she doing?
Oh,
How about you go ask her yourself?
Oh my god.
Well, seeing as I've got no idea where she holds herself up.
And once again, I feel like this is more the lack of trying side than us being these enigmatic escapees.
Look, I'm not a bloodhound. What do you want me to do? Put my nose to the ground and start sniffing out a trail?
Can Alaris come in at some point? Just
There's
to
a-
check in on Alsana.
Depends. Elaris, you might be. I'm gonna get to you in a minute.
Okay.
So it might be a little bit.
Okay.
Alsana, are you meandering in any particular direction?
Not really. Maybe in the vague direction of the bookshop, but not by no means like close towards it. But she's not going in the opposite direction.
Okay. All right. We'll keep that in mind as you guys are going along. Is there anything you have in mind to say after that statement?
I mean, I don't want you to stick your nose in the ground. No, I'm sure you've stuck your nose in worse places before. What I don't know in my infinite hope was any sort of proper apology, one that you had to spur yourself. Not that I'd have to directly ask for. Even if you didn't do your best at the time, you could have at least, I don't know, thrown up the facade that you might have. That little bit of an attempt would have been nice. Knowing there was like at least a shred of something there.
Hey, I provided for you, didn't I? Gave you a house, gave you clothes, gave you food. Even gave you spending money. You had your cousins. Aunt and uncle to look in on you. Didn't leave you in a box on the side of the road in the rain.
It's all relative. You understand. A missing father figure is a missing father figure, especially when the mother is so hard to find as well.
Oh, you never came across her?
No.
She was just up in the Deep Thicket. Well, at least last I heard.
When is just? last time you met her? What was that when she handed me off to you?
Actually, that was about when she was turning me away from the deeper part of the woods and saying that she hadn't seen you. I guess in the interest of half siblings, might as well tell you, apparently she met someone else, started another family, so, there's that, if you ever want to look in on that.
I think I will. Like I said, if you're in town for a bit, we'll be on his way. If you'd like to do some catching up on that front as well.
Huh. Might consider it, but...
Oh, don't worry, I know you're no stranger to just kind of leaving.
Kind of gives you a challenging look. I might be able to stick around for a while, though I'm not sure this town is going to be very welcoming to me. So anyhow, what you doing in the area? Sightseeing? Going to the libraries? Veravale?
I was considering. More on, more important business now, though.
Maybe avoiding Umbar and the war? I can't imagine that they'd turn down good if, they wanted a soldier on the fields.
Not quite that either. Were you aware that Adelaide was with Threshold? The order, that is, not the place.
Oh, sorry. Not really, familiar with that. I mean, I know it exists, but... they're crazy people who do their own crazy thing. I mean, Addie, I guess I could see it.
Yes, well, she thinks she's like, I joined a bit of a job for them as well. Mind you, this was before I knew, and it was how I came across her, but I've done quite a bit, learned quite a lot, been here and there, and, well...
Oh, what's the most impressive place you've been, then?
On this plane?
I suppose that's impressive. Which plane, then?
Let's start with you, shall we? Have you just stuck to this one?
Thus far. Had a bit of a close call in, well, not the otherworldly sort of planes, but a more grounded kind.
I had a few jaunts to the Feywild. I was a bit in the ethereal for a while. And I might end up going somewhere else if plans hold true. Tell me, are you...
That was impressive. Now me, I've not done any of the fancy magical jaunts to other worlds, but I've seen my fair share of odd things and fantastic places. Headed into Wistman's Wood once. Skirted by Soren another time. Nasty problems there. Though I don't know if you've heard, but apparently they've had a string of good luck recently.
That was me.
Really? Well. See, the apple doesn't fall too far from the old tree, huh?
There's just this dead look.
Might have also crossed through the Howling Plains once, if you can believe it.
I was about to ask. I was considering going on my way there myself.
Ah,
since you seem knowledgeable.
can't say I recommend it as a tourist destination.
I'm not going there just to sightsee. How far have you gone in?
Resmond to Bahara. Straight line. Or straight as I could make it. This was a while ago. It's not too bad if you can avoid all of the wandering orcs and gnolls and other beasts. Learn to recognize when a ghost is going to show up, have the right
Sorry, got
equipment.
interrupted.
Okay.
He made a trip from Resmond to Bahara.
Yep. Is basically boasting about how it's not that hard if you're really skilled and have the right stuff.
You said ghosts, undead?
On occasion. There's ruins in there. And some of their dead seem to have stuck around with them.
That'll be easy. Any large landmarks? I maintain I'm not there just for sightseeing, but we're looking for something important.
Mind you, I haven't seen the whole plane, but yeah, occasional ruins here and there. Things that might have once been castles, towers, temples, buildings.
Anything still properly standing?
Properly? There's one or two places that provide shelter. Let's put it that way. But unless you come across like some witch's hut or something, or the tents and other shelters of the wandering humanoids who hang around there, no, nothing properly standing, I would say.
Any landmarks, large chasms, or mountains, or...
No real mountains. Hills, plenty. Occasional little chasms or ravines, streams of water. Nothing enormous. Some swampy patches. Some stands of trees. Honestly, it's as close to a desolate waste as you can get.
Great.
However, I'm familiar with the dangers. If you need a guide, I don't have any jobs lined up.
She crosses her arms and tilts her head. Really? You're offering that? Might I ask why?
Making up for lost time.
Well, I'll be sure to...
Also, potentially, if you have me as a guide, maybe your brother won't, well, I seem to remember him preferring to hit and kick as opposed to scream and shout. If he reacts as badly as you, I couldn't say. I'd rather keep my teeth intact. My smile's one of my best features.
If you could be that useful, might be a consideration. You'd be doing good for not me. Maybe something bigger in your life, perhaps. Who knows? Point is, the
Well,
job we have to do there is rather important. I'll consider.
well, I'll stick around town for a few days. If they run me out, I'll just go to Ulaman and give you a little time there. Talk to Good before you let him know I'm in town, though, alright?
I was considering it.
Make sure he knows what offer's on the table, just in case.
Can't believe this.
There's a good girl. Now,
There's a pause.
I'll be staying in the inn. Can't miss it. Just off the main square.
So I was casting Call Lightning.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh no. All right. As you start to bring up the clouds and draw down the lightning, the hair on his head just kind of stands on end just enough that maybe he can pull a little out of the way. Dexterity save. Oh, not enough. He is too slow, and the lightning strikes him squarely. 20 lightning damage.
Why did I know you'd do that, Devin?
A massive and you kind of hear a
She takes a step forward and grabs him by the collar.
well, that's new.
You lost the good girl privileges when you walked out on us.
Noted, all right.
Oh.
You'll do well to remember that, you piece of trash. And she elbows in between the groin.
And he collapses on the ground and hear a little wheeze. And that's your mother in you.
Wear it proud.
All right.
You're not my father. You're someone who screwed me over in the past and is making up for it. You can speak about being a father when you've done anything to bridge that gap.
His wheezing starts to kind of get up, just hands and knees. And he says, provided for you. All those years. Stopped traveling when you were a baby.
She flicks a healing
think
spirit
I-
his way.
I think I did something.
Congratulations, you're at the bare minimum. But there's more out there you haven't done that for.
If I never knew about them, it doesn't count.
You think that's how it works?
How can I take responsibility for... Whew. You got a knee. Anyhow. No telling if they're...
At this point, also, Alaris probably would have heard the lightning strike signature.
I'm gonna say Alara. We're holding off on Alaris because there is something that he would know first because of the
Yes.
bookshop.
Sure thing.
We'll
Just there was a lightning blast at some point.
Yep. Okay.
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 Yeah, she does have the healing spirit over him, slowly patching him up.
Yeah. Yep. It's like a D6 per turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Eventually, over the minute, he'll probably.
It would be enough to
Probably be
bring back
healed.
that 20 plus critical knee to the balls.
All right.
Congratulations on that.
All right. You made that feeling clear. I'll keep it in mind.
And maybe after this, I can let you know who they are, and you can actually start doing the bare minimum. An apology to their mothers would be in order as well.
Well, honestly, what's in the past is in the past.
I was for a while too, and look what happened here. Comes back to kick you in the nuts.
All right, if we're done being hostile, I've had a long day. See you around.
If you go running off, I'll find you.
No worries. I'm being sincere. Though again, if I get run off to Ulaman by the locals, then yeah, not my fault.
Quick insight check on that.
Go ahead.
12.
All right.
Yeah. Probably. Nah, he seems too in pain to lie right now. Alright.
I'll
So
give
as
you forewarning when Good is in town as well. Like I said, if you'd like to perhaps have a small buffer, he does go by Kane nowadays.
keep it in mind. Say hello to him for me.
Been traveling with him
trying.
for a couple months now.
Oh, good. Maybe you can kind of keep him reined in.
I intend to do no such thing. That's your prerogative. I'll give him forewarning, I'll give you forewarning. And I'll patch you up if he leaves you in a pile on the side of the road.
Right.
You can expect some pain, but don't worry, there won't be permanent damage.
Well then.
She gives a smile.
I guess until then. You see Roy kind of limp off. Still kind of hunched over. You're not sure if it's because of the however long he was in the pillory or because of the lightning bolt in knee.
Yeah.
But as you part ways, Alsana, you're able to head towards the Black Cat Books shop. Rewinding a little bit. Ilaris,
Yes.
as you escorted Nyx away from Alsana, she led you to a small, cozy-looking store. There's a sign with a caricature of a black cat on it. And of course, the name of the store itself. A large window at the front shows a number of books, both old and new, on display, it seems, on various cushions and stands, shelves. She reaches for the door, opens it up, you hear a slight jangle, and there's a call over from the counter, closing in 5 minutes. Nyx goes, "It's me!" And you see from behind the counter a middle-aged, perhaps, maybe a little bit older than you, man, half-elven, light brown hair, look up, and you see a smile cross his face. "Well, if it isn't Nyx! Hi, I wasn't expecting you so soon! Come on, come on! Cameron! Nyx is here!" And from the back room, you hear a voice call back. "Nyx, really?"
No.
And coming out from the back room, another half-elven man, dark hair, very neatly trimmed beard, really just the sort of beard that's just around the mouth and the over the lip, the mustache. He opens up his arms, kind of laughs. "Nyx, what a surprise! Didn't think you'd be here so soon." She goes, "Yeah, there were some friends, Alsana from my tribe and some friends of hers, and they kind of escorted me here. Alsana's outside still, but this is..." And as she turns to bring you into the light, you see the second half-elven man kind of stop short for a moment.
Huh.
"This is Ilaris."
I believe we're already acquainted. And I go for it. I walk forward and give good old Cameron a big old hug.
Kind of, Ilaris gives you a hug back and a firm pat on the back. What are you doing all the way out here? I thought you were still in Walton."
Truth be told, you know those folk from Threshold?
"Vaguely. Heard of them."
Took a job from him.
Really?
Yeah.
Aurora, Gage, the trouble with the blights.
Safe at home. Lights are nowhere to be seen. I actually took a walk through the forest a couple days ago.
Good.
I
Good.
noticed them.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been so long since we rode. It's been busy, and the shop's doing well, though.
That's good to hear.
Oh, right, we need to... And he looks over. Varus, could you... Don't worry about it. You go ahead and catch up with your brother. Nix, help me close up the front.
Okay.
And you see Kemvren just kind of go, thanks, dear, and give Varus a kiss on the cheek. Well, we'll have you for dinner, and your other friend is, of course, welcome. We'll have Nix keep an eye out and keep the door open until she shows up.
Yes, I just hope she doesn't get into any trouble. You know how I am.
No kidding. Though I would imagine that taking care of a kid would have mellowed you out.
Yeah, but you know.
Yeah. Takes you by the shoulder, leads you into an initial back room, which seems to be storage for the bookstore, with at the far back a station full of loops of leather, of rows of tools, awls, books. There's some strong smells of glue in various pots. And then he leads you through another side door quickly, and you enter what seems to be a small kitchen, as apparently they have living quarters at the back and above the shop. Shows you to a table. Too late for coffee. Tea?
Sure.
Starts
Wouldn't
pulling
mind.
out a kettle and various tea leaves and cups. So, job with Threshold.
Yes. I'm not sure if there's much I can talk about, but it involves sort of a cross-country trip.
Evidently, all the way out here.
Yeah. Didn't think I would be coming out here, but Alsan insisted.
Well, I'm glad she did then.
Yeah.
And as he's working, there's a little... And you feel something rub against your legs. You look down, and there is indeed a black cat, giving you a sniff and a rub about the ankles. You see that one of the cat's eyes is closed. The other one, bright yellow-green, looks up at you. There's another...
Yeah, and he'll give it like a scratch on the cheek.
That's Pluck. Horrible little beast.
Oh.
So, aside from the job, what have you been doing with yourself?
Oh, been taking care of these other the party that I keep. Just sort of been taking care of them as they've been taking care of me, evidently. But yeah, things are good. I'm a very simple man, that much.
That's not too bad to be. I'm a simple man, so is Varus.
Yeah.
We're happy keeping the shop, repairing and binding books, buying and selling them.
Yeah.
Not a fantastic life you hear about in the stories, but a good one.
I mean, better than we had to go through as a soldier.
No kidding. You managed to avoid any drafts, I take it?
Yeah. How's the knee?
Not bad. You see him kind of turn and give his leg a little bit of a twist. Acts up on rainy days, but it's good otherwise.
Good to hear. That's pretty bad what happened to you out there.
Could have been worse.
That's true.
So, you still take milk in the tea, or
Yeah.
am I added? Okay. Pulls a little pitcher of cream and sets out a bowl of sugar on the table. Starts to pour some cups. Outside, you hear the sounds of voices, conversation. Apparently, Nyx and Varus discussing what's needed to be done to close up the store. After a few minutes of prep and small talk and them shutting down the shop, Kemvren kind of suddenly winces, grabs at his knee, and there's a little mutter of, "What the?" And then there's a outside.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. And Elaris gets up.
Yeah, I didn't think that we were having a storm.
No,
Tonight,
I don't
that's-
think that is. And he's gonna walk towards the door.
We'll
I'll
keep an
be
eye out.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go towards the sound of the lightning that
As-
was inevitably caused by Alsana.
All right. So with that,
She's probably on
Elaris-
the way there if this
Yep.
is timelines lining up.
Yep, you catch up just as Alsana is turning down the street to head towards the bookshop, so not too far out the door.
I suppose it went well.
Oh, hi, hello there. Which way is the bookstore?
And he just points back towards there. Yeah, met my
Good.
brother in there.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. You had a good family reunion, yes?
Sore spot.
What do you think, Alaris?
Come in for tea.
I think I will. She walks in.
Yep, you walk in, two half-elf men, Varus. There's no resemblance to Elaris, but Kemvren, you can see the family likeness and very easily assume which one is the Tundra Fist between the two. Nyx is also there, and as you enter, Varus comes over and locks up the front of the shop behind you, switching a sign from open flipped around to closed in the window. He looks over. Trouble on the road?
No, not at all. Thank you for asking. Sorry, you are...
Varus. Varus Sionadel.
Hmm.
Nyx is technically going to be my apprentice, but I own the shop with Kemvren.
Huh. Was the name overlap intentional?
Name overlap.
Varus?
Are you-
Alaris?
Elaris and Varus?
Yeah.
No, as a DM, I didn't even notice that.
No, well, she asked them. Is that a parent thing? She, like, almost self-flinches when she says the phrase parent, but continues on nonetheless.
They kind of give you a weird look. Sorry, what?
Oh, wait, sorry, out of character. Am I mixing up the names here?
I think you might be.
Okay.
Kemvren is the brother.
Okay. My bad.
Kemvren is his brother, yeah.
Yep, okay. That's where it was.
Never
Alright.
mind then.
Okay. Backpedal that. Rewind, replay.
Regardless, still. Oh. Varus and Alaris. Huh.
Heh, funny coincidence, I suppose. But there's only so many sounds in a language, and some of them are bound to overlap.
I suppose so. I heard tea.
Right back this way. I've got to go back out and finish closing up, but I can show you there.
Appreciated. Oh, and, sorry if you heard any, loud noises outside.
Oh, that was you then.
Potentially. It's nothing to worry about.
Well, as long as nobody comes knocking asking about disturbances of the peace. He shrugs.
I don't think so, no.
Shows you to the back room where there's a pot of tea already prepared. Kemvrin offers you a cup. Anything additional you'd like to add to it?
Yep, she'll take hers and look over. Does she see the cat?
You see the cat.
She's...
Cat is openly perched on the table looking at you.
Oh, the namesake is recent. And she, like, walks up to it.
Varus always wanted one, so when he found this stray, of course he took it in.
Oh, you're off the road, are you?
It's good for branding.
Oh, sorry, you can't. Here, let me fix that.
Of course.
Of course. All right. For 10 minutes, you can speak with this cat.
Hello, dear.
Oh, hello. You're a clever one. You can speak.
I'd like to try. She's kind of like, can I scratch on the ears?
I will permit it.
She does.
There's this round of purring, and the cat pushes the head further up into your fingers.
She asked like the room, both wanting a response from the owners and from the cat, and was like, "Does this one have a name?"
Kemvrin says, her name's Pluck. Pluck says, oh, I don't know. I didn't really come with a name from my mom, so I just go with whatever they're calling me. I assume it's highly dignified.
And she'll look over. Why Pluck, might I ask? Does he steal things?
Kemvrin goes, I think part of it was Varus plucked him off the street, or her off the street. Part of it is just, it was the name of kind of a troublemaker in some book or other, I think.
She looks over. So you're referred to as a bit of a troublemaker, then?
Oh, am I? Well, we'll see about that. If they want trouble, I can make trouble.
I'm sure you can. She scratches it.
Oh, right there. Oh, just a little to the left.
And before you think I'm crazy, I'm a druid. Don't worry. I'm actually talking to him. As odd as that sounds, her. Sorry.
Cameron says, seen otter, honestly.
Any
Besides,
questions you'd like to ask?
We're familiar with druids.
I mean the cat specifically.
Can you tell it to stop throwing my pillow on the ground every night?
Also turns over. There's a request to cease with the pillow throwing on the daily basis. Or at least a question as to why you do it.
It's the coziest spot on the bed, but it's in the way.
Also turns back. Apparently it's the coziest spot on the bed, but the pillow's in the way.
I don't care. That's my part of the bed. That's my pillow. She can stop it.
He says he wants the cuffiest spot.
Well, he's just gonna have to deal with that, isn't he?
She says deal with it.
Kembren just turns, points directly at the cat, and says, I can have you back out on the street, so help me. And you hear Varus from the other room, you wouldn't dare!
I'll suddenly open whispers, he's making a bit of an empty threat.
And Pluck unknowingly echoes Varus by saying, yes, he wouldn't dare.
Alright. Well, if there's anything else, just let me know. Nick's settling in all okay?
Oh, we'll get her settled in. We've got a spare room that we were about to clean out for giving her a space of her own. It's halfway done. We can get a mattress in there real fast and then finish it up tomorrow.
And lastly, about the shop itself. And she kind of like leans back out the doorway and looks towards books.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of selection do you have?
Varies. Depends on what people bring in and sell. Depends on what people have bought or want
So you
ordered
might
in
have
from
some
the big city.
obscure things.
Potentially. We try to keep them. We try to keep them in good condition. If anything comes in horribly damaged but repairable, we can do that here. That's actually my job. As for rare, I suppose it depends on the book, really.
And this is still the Dunderfist brother?
Mhm.
He's like, "Oh, why couldn't I get this Dunderfist? No offense, Alaris.
None taken.
But still, though, you own a bookstore. Oh,
Believe it or not, we don't have that much time to actually browse them. That said, we might be closed for the night, but if you want to go ahead and take a look.
would you allow me?
Huh.
Oh,
If you don't mind sleeping on a couch or on
I'm
the floor.
more than okay with that. I think I need this. I need this. I need this. Pluck, would you care to accompany me?
I wouldn't mind. Just keep scratching me.
Alright.
Right there.
She kind of like puts an arm out. It's like, you can come on the shoulders if you'd like.
I believe I will. She climbs up on the shoulders and kind of drapes herself around there.
She like takes a few steps forward, just.
We're gonna go ahead and cut over from Alsana finding books. As it is getting a little late, and Cuckoo Meta Pigeon wants to know if the pair in Resmond knows anything about the Howling Plains. I will say that Max and
Oh, I meant the brothers.
oh, the brothers. Well,
But that's okay. Give me taking care of next time.
okay.
Yep.
Max and Kai don't know anything. If that's a topic of conversation at any point.
Yeah, sure.
No
We can
problem.
say it's at some point. Of curiosity,
Helen-
does Alaris bring up like to his brother that, hey, I might be going into the Howling Plains?
That's up to him. We are gonna go ahead and cut over to Kane and Calda though
Oh, alright.
first, because you guys are gonna be spending a few days there, and
fair
Kane
enough.
and Calda have spent a few days in Resmond before, on the 5th, some halflings roll up in town.
Oh boy.
I assume that arrangements were made to meet in a particular place on that day. So
Do we
Calda,
find
you
a-
Hmm?
Sorry, do we find a pet-friendly inn?
I'll say in that time you can find a pet-friendly inn, though of note, that first inn, in the middle of the night, there's a and there's a dog in Rose's bed.
Oh, god damn it.
I love Biscuit so much.
I'll probably just tell Biscuit to poof outside before everyone wakes up.
Biscuit was way ahead of you, so he does that, yes.
Oh, he gets the biggest scratch behind the ears that morning.
Mission dog possible.
But you guys wait at perhaps the town gate, perhaps the center in Resmond. And Ty, if you'd like to describe who comes running down the street immediately upon seeing you and Rose.
In slow motion.
So one of them's he's an older halfling. He's called his age, looking like it. A whopping 3'7". Dirty blonde hair. It's 2'9".
Oh, jeez.
I'm baby. Just like a mop of like shortish, dirty blonde hair, hazel eyes. Definitely slimmer than Calda, and it's warm out. He's wearing a short sleeve shirt. So Kane would probably notice there's like a bit of a scar running like up his left arm. That's pretty long. And with him are like a younger male halfling, like a little bit taller than him seemingly. 3'8", light brown hair, little raggedy and longer. sort of built a bit more muscly like Calda, and then like another little girl looking about like adolescence, 12, solid 2'9" with just bright blonde hair, green eyes, and just small and skinny. I'll just come running towards them.
How old is the tallest one?
The son's 19, looking about 19, early 20.
Okay. Kane's just kind of standing there, all his weapons stowed away except for the javelin on his back, in his nice date clothes, looking super nervous.
In all honesty,
Calda's like coming out with Rose.
yep. In all honesty, none of them seem to notice you immediately, Kane. They are all charging forward, and you actually hear more along the lines of Rose, Rose, oh God, Rose!
Did you tell them, Corin?
Corin catches up, and after grabbing Rose up in this pile of a halfling hug, all three of them, looks up at you and just says, I didn't tell him anything. Oswald found your letter.
Oz. You could have told them, but Oz, why are you snooping and stuff? Still.
I didn't, it was open on the table.
Okay, then that's fair. That's fair. Also, you read about the dog, right?
Yes, I'm. That's a big. Calda, honey. That's a big dog.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you a look. Calda, that's a big dog.
He's a big dog, but he's also a good boy. He's a good
Calda,
boy, Corin.
we have a not big house.
That's fair. But we have a sort of big backyard. Shed. No, he doesn't belong in the shed. Rose's room.
Kane's gonna dip his head and say, is the house big enough for a half-orc?
Oh, I adopted a half-orc.
Corin looks up and up and up. Puts on
He
a
just
smile.
smiles really friendly.
That's Kane. The other two,
Oh, the Kane you mentioned in your letters.
Yes.
Well then, I suppose we're just going to have to make room.
We can
Okay.
expand. Like, I think one of my cousins is good with house building and renovations.
I think
Well,
we're
I'm really good at it. I can help build the structure. And I can stay in the shed if you need me to. Like, you guys said you have a nice big shed. I can stay in the
Oh,
shed. Or
no.
I can even stay in the backyard. I can like pitch a
No.
tent.
Nope.
We are due for a new roof. This is as good a reason as any. This is a better reason than most.
We can be due for a new floor, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we could definitely expand upwards. Outwards, a little more difficult, being in the city, but upwards, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad I can help you raise the roof.
Oh, there's two of you now. There's two of you.
Kane just has the like twitching smile, like please work.
Corin is bowling over laughing. Osborne, still holding on to little Rose, heaves a sigh and rolls his eyes. Looks over at Tierna. There's two of them.
There's two of them.
Come on, Rose. my joke
Tierna
was funny.
kind of shrugs. Rose goes, "It wasn't that bad."
See?
Oh, you're an amazing shit game.
Kane.exe has stopped working.
Zelda, like, just brings him in and just, like, pushes him down a little bit so he's a bit short and just like, come on.
Yep, he'll kind of hug her with one arm and other arm like wrapped around the dog.
Corin reaches up for a handshake with you, Kane. Disentangle from one. He gives you a look and says, "Well, we're gonna have to reconnect with one daughter and apparently get to know a new son."
Oh, he's great. You should see how good he is at fishing.
Well, that'll be really nice to have around, actually. Osborne never got the hang of it. Always
Kane-
too on the move. No
Kane's a good
patience.
teacher. He has taught me a little bit about it.
You guys want to talk about good teachers? I've seen your mom here and kind of like pat her on the shoulder. I've seen her throw me across the
I
room.
can believe it.
Oh, come on.
You did, in the ring. You even won for a tournament for it.
Okay, there was you, and then there was also all those other people.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. It was me and a dozen or so other people in succession.
May or not have won a tournament on Windsor Thor.
Really? Oh, I'm so proud of you. You're wonderful. Corin grabs you and gives you a great big kiss.
Oh, God, like just kiss him back. Oh, I've missed.
Winning tournaments, finding lost daughters, adopting new sons and dogs, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, so Rose can do magic.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the druidy stuff. I think I may have said a little bit, but she's really good.
You did mention that there was a druid camp and she was learning from them?
Yeah, they were really, really nice. Oh my gosh, they were so hospitable and kind, and one of them is with us right now. I think he's doing his own thing. He's very quiet. But they're maybe when Rose is a little older, because we all want Rose to be home for a little bit.
Oh, definitely we want Rose to be home for a little bit.
A while a bit. Maybe she could go. I have contacts, I think. Yeah, I can send some letters.
Well, maybe after a while we'll talk about it. We'll look into it.
Exactly, but right now we need to be a family.
Yeah.
For at least the day or two. And then Mom's gotta head a little bit east for a while.
All right.
A few more months.
Well,
Love. Few more months.
Few more months. Well, let's go ahead and see the city. Enjoy the day.
Oh, let's explore.
I brought some savings. We can do some shopping, get some food, see a show.
Oh, savings, come on. And Calda opens up her coin purse.
And King will put her hand on top of the coin purse and go, not a chance. I'm new to the family. I'm bringing my dowry. Let's go.
You're not getting married in.
What the heck?
I'm aware of that, but I've got a little sister up spoil now.
You got
As
two
well as
of
other
them.
siblings. Well,
Alright.
let's see if we can find a vest for this dog.
With that, you go off to shop for a vest for a dog. All right. It is getting a little late, and I know someone needed to be off early. So, do we need to cover anything else for happiness's sake?
Can
Or are
Alsana
we
just
okay?
give a quick, like, if she finds anything in the library there? Or bookstore, rather?
Yeah. All right. We can go ahead and do that real quick. We'll just use a D100 chart, as I was planning on doing that if you wanted to poke around anyway.
Yep. Just, she needs to do it for the evening to calm down.
Yeah. Let's go ahead with 100 interesting books. That
Oh
could
boy.
be fun. Go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
Big money, no whammies. 41. I always get 41s! 41s and 42s.
You come across, first of all, you're just kind of blindly searching through the stacks and pulling things out at random and putting them back. You come across, first of all, a book titled Gobbo and Me. It's a thin book. It has a lot of pictures, brightly colored woodcuts, it seems. It seems to be a children's book about the dangers of befriending goblins.
She's just reading over and it's like, oh, look at that pluck. They get the racism started early.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and roll another couple D100s just because you're going through stacks.
Alright. Let's do 2.
One.
One.
You don't know how this ended up in the stacks. You don't know where it came from. You don't know anything. Somehow, it seems to have been missed in whatever lookover the two owners of the shop do. The title of the book is just To Serve Men. And so you think, oh, maybe it's like a etiquette book or something like that. But no, yeah, it seems to be a very poorly written cookbook on the delicate art of cooking humans, and it seems to be from like an ogre's point of view.
Alsana just like, she looks at it, she kind of like flinches back for a sec, and then keeps reading it.
Yep.
Starts pouring through it.
Oh, actually, instead of ogre, it's written in a different language. It's written in giant. So maybe you pull out your comprehend languages and you kind of go, "Oh, that's what this is."
Like she reads it on the front, and it's like, I kind of like, how does that translate? Like serving your fellow man. That doesn't sound too bad. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And the 26?
A book called Stranger in My Dreams.
Hello.
You kind of flip it open and you start to read. It's written in the style of a diary. Maybe artistic choice, maybe an actual diary. But it seems to be a recounting of somebody kind of having this series of dreams and this figure, this creature, who just over time almost seemed to take over those dreams. You get to like the last few pages and you're kind of thinking, wait, how does this resolve? It seems like there's not enough left. And you get to the last entry. And it just describes this dream being the closest yet. And the exhaustion of it, the way it drags, the almost the guilt felt as over the course of the book and the dreams, the diary writing author hints at being convinced to do and think and say terrible things in the waking world. You get to the last entry, and it describes almost fearing but almost wanting to sleep again that night. And then there are no further entries in it.
And she leans back, thoroughly satisfied with reading a light potential horror like fiction, potential oh god this is real, and a cannibal cookbook. And it's like,
find anything interesting?
Yes. Well, are you interested in nightmare monsters or cannibalism?
Why does this this sound so strange out of context?
She gives a smile. Well, I'm guessing your brother, the other one, doesn't speak giant?
No.
Well, it roughly translates to how to serve your fellow man, or how to serve man.
Sound too bad.
Think about it for a second.
With the context of cannibalism?
How to serve a man. Yes.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's surprisingly accurate. I would have expected more rough and ramshackle ideas of biology and medicine from, I assume, a giant or an ogre or something. But they've got some basic medical principles down. It's just for different purposes.
Okay.
What would...
by the way, how'd things go with him?
I was trying to forget about it, but I suppose I can't. Well, first of all, I'm sure you guessed I struck him with lightning.
Yeah, I gathered that.
Placed a kneecap between his legs.
Also could have gathered that.
But...
well, could have come to that conclusion anyway.
Other than that, seems he's been going around being a general man-whore bard.
Unsurprising.
And he's made a trip from Resmond to Bahara.
Wait.
Across the Howling Plains.
Across the Howling. Is
Offering to be a guide.
Is he being was he being honest, or is this just sort of macho posturing?
He didn't seem horribly inaccurate about it. I intend to do more research on the place first, mind you, but
Of course.
he seemed to have basic
I'll
knowledge.
help you with that.
And quite frankly, even if he is completely lying and full of bullshit, I would be nothing but happy to drag him there otherwise. Anyways.
And you intend on telling Kane that you...
This is something I need to ask you about.
Okay.
Because I don't... I hate him, I hate him, I hate him.
That's
He is a
justified.
horrible bastard who feels he holds no responsibility for the multitude of bastards he's left across this country.
That's terrible.
He feels just simply giving us a place to sleep and money for food to eat and an occasional checkup by our aunt was reasonable treatment as a father.
It's not. But continue.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry
Hello?
about that.
Yeah. It's not, but continue.
And I hate him. He seems to think that if he wasn't aware of other ones who he didn't give such wondrous luxuries to, that, well, it's just out of his hands and it's in the past.
That's terrible.
But I'm also... There's a small part of me that I hate and I want to rip out with a knife that's considering anything other than hating him. And outside of that, part of me is wondering if we're ever going to find anyone as crazy as him and as up his own ass as him to have had the wherewithal to actually attempt to go across the Howling Plains.
I mean, the Howling Plains does drive one mad. There are no documented cases of anyone getting out alive. His counsel could be interesting, to say the least.
He took a strike of lightning with some surprising chutzpah. He's not... I don't think he's just some random minstrel. I've heard tale of bards with actual magic capacity.
Yes. I understand that. So, yeah.
But quite frankly, if it's ostensibly impossible for Kane to be ever convinced that this is a possibility, then, well, what can we do, right?
That's true. Well, what did he say? What do we need to do to cross the Howling Plains?
He said he'd be willing to be a guide.
Really?
Making up for lost time.
And Alaris gives sort of a like a considering look, just okay.
He didn't seem like he was just saying it so I wouldn't hit him again. So he can make his way out. He said he'd be in town for a few days to maybe meet Kane as well.
Well, you'd have to tell Kane then,
I
because
will, and I intend to forewarn him.
Kane. Yeah.
And I intend to forewarn that bastard as well.
Who knows? Maybe Kane's even like found another one of his bastards. I don't know. I have no clue about that.
I mean, given the likelihood, it would be too surprised. But again, like,
no,
what are the odds it
all
would happen
likelihood,
at this
yeah,
point in time?
it could happen, yeah.
Like,
And
it'd be
make it
ridiculous if
happen.
he just, like, brought one with him or something. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, yeah. Who could you imagine the kind of vendetta they'd have? you
Oh,
know?
but can you imagine the look on his face?
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Uh,
It'd be entertaining to say the least. Always good to see bad fathers put in their place.
lastly, he gave me information about my mother.
That it could prove valuable for you. Could
Apparently,
get-
he
Could do
ran
good for
into
your
her
personal hearing.
by Deep Thicket not too long after I had left home.
That could be a thread that we could leave open for now.
At the very
and
least, I
then
could find, but
circle back to.
I mean it to say that I'm very. I don't know how I feel about this all.
It's a very complicated business. I'm not gonna say that I know a piece of what your family, and he does that in air quotes, is
Bloodline.
going through. Bloodline is going through. As you could tell, my family is
Much better.
not quite as fractured and
Decent human
dysfunctional.
beings. All of them.
I suppose you could say that.
Also, like, if Pluck's still on the table, just kind of like drags over and just like puts a face down on. It's just a lot. But thank you.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. And if he starts acting up, I could just shoot him.
Oh, I'm well within my capacity.
I know, but the option's always open.
I don't,
I'll take out his kneecaps for you. I don't mind.
for all the fun and lineups and jokes, I don't think I could ever actually do it.
I know.
There's like slight welling in her eyes.
And Alaris will give Alsana a hug.
She'll take it. Think we can end it there.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll pick up next week.
Cool.
Thank you guys for bearing through with all of this.
No
Yeah.
problem.
It's okay, we found another Kirkland.
Mhm.
Found more than one.
You found a lot.
Yeah.
We found the Kirkland.
Oh, okay.
I love
This
the
isn't what
the
we
dra-
mean when we say we want found family in a story, but
Yeah.
like I appreciate
I love the dramatic irony at the end between you and me, Devin. It was just like, could you imagine if he just brought another one of his kids? It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I was about to say, guys, okay, much further and the fourth wall is going to start pushing back.
Alright.
It's just a bit of dramatic irony.
I know.
Until
Still.
next time.
Until next time.